In this video, we're going to be rounding where the answers are all whole numbers. So the first one we have here is where we're rounding to the nearest whole number. So the first thing you have to do is identify which digit this refers to. So the units column refers to our whole number in this case. We put a dashed line down to show that's where the rounding's happening before looking at the next digit. If it's a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, which it is, that's going to make the digit beforehand go up 1. So that then becomes a 4. Our decimal point under here is there, and therefore that's just our answer, just 4 on its own. For the next one, our units column is now above the 4. Again, we're going to have the dashed line afterwards. The digit afterwards is a 0, so that means it's not going to change this 4, so it will remain as a 4. Then we fill in the other digits that are there. 14, we don't need to put that decimal point in, but it's always good just to show what it is. And 14 is our answer, the nearest whole number. And lastly, we have our 9 is in the units column, dashed line here. This 9 is going to round this 9 up to a 10. So what will happen is that this 9 will become a 0 with 1 going into this column, mixing with the 2, and 20 even, and turning that into 30 as our answer. For the next three, we're going to be rounding to the nearest 10. So in this case, the tens column, I'll just do all three of these together actually. Tens column is highlighted as shown. The rounding is then going to happen after that. The digit afterwards will decide whether or not the one before it is going to stay the same or go up 1. So in the case of the first one, that 2 is going to mean that that 1 stays where it is. If we identify where the decimal point is and fill in any gaps with zeros, and that gives us 10 as our answer for that one. With this one, our 7 is going to make this 7 go up 1 to become an 8. We have a 3 in the hundreds column, and our decimal point is there, so we must put a 0 in there to give us 380. And in the last one, this 8 is going to turn that 9 into a 10, which is then going to turn that 9 into 100, well, into 1,000 technically, and then that 1 will mix with that 4 to give us a 5. Our decimal point is there in there, leaving us with a 0, so 5,000 is our answer for that one. Next one, we're going to be rounding to the nearest 100. So identify where the hundreds column is and put a dashed line straight after it. Whoops. So a rounding is going to happen here. Then look at the digits that are afterwards and see whether or not they're going to add 1 or leave the digit beforehand the same. So this 2 won't change this 8. Our decimal points are here, so we need to put 2 zeros in there, so 800 is the answer for that one. For this one, that 8 will change that 700 to an 800. Put the 1 in, and then because of the fact that decimal points here, we have to put 2 zeros in there, so that becomes 1,800. And lastly, this 5 will turn that 9 into a 900 into 1,000, and then that will turn that 9,000 into a 10,000, and then that 1, that 10,000 will mix with that 40,000 to give us 50,000, but it's not 50,000 yet because again, identify where the point is and fill in the blanks of those zeros, so 50,000 is our answer for that one. Lastly, rounding to the nearest 1,000, again, find your thousands column and put a dashed line afterwards, show where the rounding is, then have a look at the digit afterwards and see whether or not it is going to round the digit before or round the thousands column up 1 or not. This 9 will make the 2,000 become a 3,000. It's not a 3,000 yet though until we look at where the decimal place was and fill in the zeros. Now it is. For the next one, this 2, it's going to make that 6 remain the same. Now 6,000 even, that 10,000 is still there. Look at where the point is and put in the gaps, put in the zeros. And then lastly, this 6 will make that 9 turn into a 10,000, which makes that 90,000 turn into 100,000. Another way you could look at it is this 99 becomes 100, and then the point here, we're going to have another 3 zeros there. And that's rounding with a whole number answer.